Hi, Ross Quintana with Social Magnets, and thanks for taking the time to check out our video. This is a short 10-minute video called Marketing to Tell Stories. It's the second bullet point in a blog post that I wrote called The Power of Being Real. And the first video we covered brands are ideas, and now we're going to talk a little bit about marketing to tell stories and the idea of context and manipulation and kind of how marketing is being done. And the full 30-minute video is there for people who want to dig deeper into this. If you just want a tidbit, you can hop in, grab one of these, grab the next one, check the blog post, leave a comment. I appreciate it. Having to lean forward. Don't you once in a while you see I got a stripe across my face here because the window blinds have one little spot where the sun's coming in. I tried to block it out. So if I start leaning forward a whole bunch, then that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying not to get my retina burned out here. Anyway, we'll dig right into this one. It's called Marketing to Tell Stories. You know, a lot of people have talked about, you know, the power of telling stories, and stories are important in marketing. And as an innovator and a strategist, I look at where, you know, kind of where things have been, where they're at right now, and where that points to, and where I think that they're going to go, and what these elements, why are these things cropping up? You see, what happens is when you start to see the patterns of how things go, it's not just enough to see the data, right? Everybody's talking about big data this, big data that. Well, that's great. At the end of the day, most people don't understand the data. It's not just about collecting, right? Today, we're all excited about collecting data, and all these companies are collecting a crud load of data, and their algorithms are lame and sorting through. It's the ABCs. It's like little kids. You know, what they may find advanced, you know, isn't really that advanced yet, because as a science, it's young. And there'll come a time when it gets much better. Maybe. There's an element, there's always a human who has to interact with that data. That's the problem with CEOs. They get all these reports and all this and that, but someone has to determine what things mean. And not all people are created the same when it comes to that. Not everyone has the vision to see what others can't see, and make connections that other people don't see. And so a lot of times, you know, the data might be accurate, but the interpretation of it could be all over the place. You know, it's just like religion. You've got like with the Bible. How many religions are there based off of the Bible? There's tons of different religions, kind of all based off of the same book, and even within those religions, nobody really agrees on exactly what everything means. You could sit down and talk to one person, he says, well, we think this is what it means, another one says, no, this is what it means. How can you get that when the book is the same book? So if the data, right, is good enough to just speak for itself, it isn't, right? Because somebody's got to interpret. And when you have that, you're going to get lots of different interpretations. And when you have different interpretations, some of those are going to be absolutely wrong. They're going to seem justified, and they're wrong. They missed something. They made the wrong associations with it. And this is important when we talk about telling stories, because marketing can be many things. Telling stories is kind of a structure for marketing, right? You can tell the story, and the story becomes part of the marketing. And smart storytellers, right, will know everything that they're trying to communicate with that story, and still tell the story, because it helps you have a context, right? A story gives you context. You meet somebody. Great example with social media. You meet somebody, and I mean, take social media. They're a little icon right there. Their little avatar. Okay, you see their little picture, their little head. You don't really know that person yet, and so what do? You click and go read their bio. Now I get my whole life summed up in one sentence, right? Because I'll probably write a blog post about writing Twitter bios, but a lot of people comment on my bio that they love it. Oh, what's this? Oh, you're a hired gun, huh? Or oh, what's an other cider? And you know, it's always funny because I get on a regular basis, I get people who comment about something about my bio on Twitter. Well, you know, in a way, if you're authentic, if you're genuine, I just don't, well, I didn't sit down and plan out my bio. That expresses who I am. And if it's a little bit odd or interesting or different, then that's probably an example of who I am. People who get to know me and sit down and have a conversation with me understand, oh yeah, well then that makes sense. Now they can go back and check out my bio and go, oh yeah, okay, I get it now. You know, but it causes people, you know, to ask a few questions. But when you've got a bio, right, you're essentially telling a story. But it's pretty hard to tell a story in one sentence about who a person is, because there's a lot more to a person than meets the eye. A little shout out to my Transformers out there, my Transformer peeps.
Thank you.
So the point is that, you know, then people can go like to my LinkedIn or whatever, and in the little personal, I have my here's what I've done. That isn't who I am. I've got a million other things I still want to do I haven't ever done. So, you know, don't try and evaluate me by what I've done, you know, so far. I've done a bunch of cool stuff and all that, but it's funny how people associate themselves with, well, I work at this company, and they start to see themselves as that person who lines up with, that's my job, that's who I am. Whereas I look at it like, well, I do lots of things. I've been an expert in lots of different fields, and that isn't who I am. It's a part of me, but there's a lot more, and there's a lot more that I haven't done. And this goes for marketing, right? Because people say, it's like people say, well, look at your Twitter feed, and that's who you are. And in concept, that's kind of interesting. It's an interesting thought. It's not absolutely true, because I share, depends on what type of stuff you're sharing. You know, if you're talking about, you're taking pictures of your food and all this and that, well, then you must be an 800-pound guy who just loves eating, because all I see is pictures of your food all the time and you're eating. Maybe that's all you post. Now, it does have an impact if that's all you post. Maybe that's all I know about you. So if you want me to know that you're a great golfer, maybe you need to post some golfing pictures. So that element, part of it's true, but it's not necessarily true in its entirety. And also, I curate a lot of content. So like I remember seeing on Facebook, there was this thing where it analyzed the words of all your tweets and then based your personality off of it. Well, instantly I knew the flaw, and I've done studies in personality profiling and stuff like that. So I was interested, but I knew the flaw instantly. It's like, well, I know they're not going to get it. Why? Because if I'm sharing other people's content, that has nothing to do with my personality. Now, a person could say, well, you shared that title because you liked it, but that's a pretty far stretch. So the fact is, it's going to end up being worthless data. But if all you do is talk a lot on there from your personal standpoint, then it's going to be more accurate, because it's going to tune into the type of words you use and all this and that. But marketing helps us tell stories, and the story helps them remember our marketing. And so if you don't know what your story is, sometimes in reverse, it's good to go take a look and say, how would I be perceived online, digitally? I tell them my LinkedIn, hey, here's the things I've done. I've done a whole bunch of different things. I was a battle DJ champion 3-time. I was a professional snowboarder. I write music. I've done a whole bunch of different things that have, a lot of them, nothing related to each other. Things that I've been involved or got interested. I said, if you want to know more, you just have to get to know me. You know, and that's the whole point of social media. And it's the same with your brand. See, a lot of people are missing the power of being real when it comes to their brand, because they don't want to get to know their customers. They just want to sell them a product. That's why big business doesn't get social media. Social media is a communication tool. But marketing generally is a one-way communication. We want to say something to you or manipulate you or use a tactic to get you to do something, because we just want to reach in your pocket and take some money from you. We don't care if you like the product. We don't care about you or your cat or what you had for dinner, so why would I get on social media? That's what businesses are thinking, and they're totally missing the whole point. But for the first time in history, you're able to connect with the people who are actually using your product. If you cared, you would do it. You would listen. You would ask questions. Like, wow, so powerful to be able to ask a question of your users. You know, companies used to, pay focus groups or try and pay all this money to do a survey out to their customers. You don't have to pay that now. They're online. Go talk to them. You know, talk to your users, find out what they like, what they don't like. You know, it's a conversation which creates a relationship. Just the fact that you would ask shows you care. That alone breaks the mold of marketing. And there's going to be people and companies who take huge advantage of that. And that becomes part of your story. See, everything you do becomes part of your story. Stop making it just marketing. You know, make it real. Get real with your customers. And they'll be loyal, and they'll trust you, and it'll change the way they think about your brand. And your brand will be insulated and protected against anybody's marketing that just flops in their ear to manipulate them. So anyway, I didn't get to dig too deep. I would go longer, but I hit my 10-minute mark, so I hope you guys enjoyed this little chat. I'm going to be looking into doing a podcast hopefully soon. I haven't done it before. I haven't researched what all it takes and all that, but I think that format makes sense because people who subscribe to podcasts seems like they enjoy sitting down for a minute and listening and collecting deeper information maybe than just a surface 2-minute video or whatever. Anyway, love to hear your comments. Connect with me on social media. I'd love to get to know you and see what you do, see what I do. Maybe we work together. Who knows? You know, and hit subscribe. Check out the other videos, the next video in this series. Check out the blog post that I'm going to write around this. The blog post called The Power of Being Real. And this, the next video is called The Unseen Effect of Relationships. So until next time, I'm going to say, be superb.